This is part 2 of a mini-series about the Fnaf timeline, so I would recommend watching part 1 before beginning this one. But anyways, like and subscribe, and thanks for watching. After the missing children's incident, the police investigated Freddy's, but no bodies were ever found. Unfortunately for William, Spring Bonnie was captured on camera, luring children into the unseen back room. The police questioned William, but there was no evidence to pin the missing children on him, and more importantly, no bodies to even say if the children were killed or not. William walked away a free man, but Fazbear Entertainment had concerns, and because of the bad press that came in with William, his position was removed by the board. William was pissed, but he knew his plan worked. Bots were acting funky. It wouldn't matter anyways. Not long after Afton left, the restaurant closed because of its poor rep and foul odor coming from the suits. William had his connection, dead kids, Remnant, and with Remnant, who knew what could be accomplished? Immortality? The power of life and death. Or maybe he could even bring his son back. Afton didn't have Fazbear anymore, but he had his knowledge and resources. In no time, William created Afton Robotic, and not all the backers at Fazbear were happy to let Afton go. William created a few new robots, and was able to get access to some of the copyrights. Fazbear was in need of cash bad at the time. Funtime Freddy, Funtime Foxy, a yellow and green Jester Springlock suit, Laura, who was the spitting image of Afton's former wife, and the star of the show, Baby, Elizabeth's favorite. Afton was gonna open a restaurant of his own.
There's no doubting what you've achieved on a technical level. These are clearly state-of-the-art. There are just certain design choices that were made for these robots that we don't fully understand. We were hoping that you could shed some light on those.
She can dance. She can sing. She's equipped with a built-in helium tank for inflating balloons right at her fingertips. She can take song requests. She can even dispense ice cream.
With all due respect, those aren't the design choices we were curious about, Mr. Afton.
Circus Baby's Pizza Ward. But this wasn't for money or entertainment. No, Afton created these bots with special purposes. Storage tanks, stomach hatches, voice mimicking, luring devices. These animatronics weren't for play. No, they were to lure and kidnap children for Afton's experiments. Sadly though, the first day of the rest of William's life was shortchanged as Elizabeth, his baby girl, finally disobeyed his orders. She visited Circus Baby alone and was clawed. By the time William found her, she was gone. But William couldn't let this all be for naught. He knew that if the cops got involved, it would get messy. They were already so close to him. He couldn't let his fun times be dismantled. William acted fast, and the place was closed down on his first day due to gas leaks. Just to make sure that no one came snooping around, William released a tiny amount of nightmare gas, just so if anyone got too close, they'd see something spooky. Circus Babies was closed, but the work wasn't done. William needed more remnants to experiment on, but that's when he noticed something. Baby's eyes changed colors. It was blue when he created her, but now they were green. Green just like Elizabeth. Was she in there? Just like Charlie and the other kids? She didn't act like Elizabeth. She was just a normal robot besides the glaring. Baby would stare at William, looking with intent. William knew he needed to figure this out, get more remnant, and that's when the golden opportunity landed in his lap. The year was 1987, and Freddy Fazbear's Pizza was reopening. Fazbear got in contact with William. They needed new robots, and Henry was in the win. Afton was happy to comply. He didn't go crazy with this one. Yes, he needed remnant, but he needed to play it safe. No more accidents like Elizabeth. Afton created more toy-like designs for all the OG characters. Fazbear even gave him parts from the original animatronics. Afton even threw in a prototype of Funtime Foxy Nail alongside another failed Circus Baby character, Balloon Boy, to round out the cast. Afton created a way to scan for criminals and such as well. Fazbear wanted to be protected. They couldn't have another MCI on their hands. Afton was willing, but he made sure he wasn't on that list, for security reasons. He was paid well, and Fazbear left to plan their brand new, larger-than-life opening. This was Afton's perfect chance. He knew he could sneak past those robots, but he knew he couldn't just enter the restaurant as William Afton. Too many eyes on him. No, if he wanted in, he'd have to be sneaky. So Afton replied to an ad in the paper, help needed security guard. Afton didn't really get why this job was so hard to fill. A night security gig should be easy. William, under the fake name Dave Miller, got the job. Dave, aka William Afton, spent his night saying this was going to be a cakewalk. Spent a few nights here and eventually transferred to the day shift. What William didn't account for was that the spirits were a bit angry. The voice on the phone tried to warn him that this happened near the end of the original Freddy's lifespan. But William thought it was just glitchiness. But no, the bots were angry, coming after him. Luckily, William figured out putting on a Freddy head would save him from the fate of these bots, as not only were the dismantled withered animatronics after him, but even the toys. But that shouldn't be possible. William didn't program them to be like this. They were animalistic. Did the remnant from the dead kids transfer to these new bots because of the plot? This gave William ideas, but he'd have to save them for a later date, as he even ran into the one he shouldn't have killed, Gordon Freddy. Gordon Freddy's head would appear in the hallway. The ghost was strong, but even it fell for the mask trick. After a week of some of the most stressful nights of William's life, he requested the day shift and was granted it. Dave Miller was now roaming the halls during the day, watching out for the boogeyman, the Spring Bonnie killer, the purple guy.
The others are like animals, but I am very aware.
Charlie knew that Afton was back, and she needed a plan. Meanwhile, a young man just trying to make ends meet has taken Afton's night job. Jeremy Fitzgerald was going through 5 nights at Freddy's, as the animatronics attacked him night after night, but he didn't buckle. Meanwhile, in the day, Afton created a plan. He knew he was only going to get one chance to see this, so on day 4, William struck in his familiar spring Bonnie suit. Charlie went in a panic. It was happening again! William was going to kill more. Charlie was still scared of William, even in a new form, so she ran back to grab one of the MCI kids, Freddy, and the two went out, but it was too late. William had killed 5 more children. He didn't even hide the bodies this time. Subtlety was dead for William. Freddy tried to stop William, but William, freshly out of his spring body suit, used the crank to stop Freddy. Save the kids, they couldn't. Dave Miller was in the wind, and Jeremy had to deal with the after effects. Not only was this place under investigation, but the animatronics were acting irrational. Agony in the building was potent, and the animatronics could feel it. Even Golden Freddy made an appearance, to Jeremy's dismay. After long nights, the phone guy told Jeremy that he was moving up to day shift. The position just became open. There was even one more event planned before the place closed up for a bit. He was given a warning too.
Stay close to the animatronics and make sure they don't hurt anyone, okay?
To make sure the animatronics didn't hurt him. Now at the final party, Jeremy wore the badge of the day shift. Same badge that only days earlier the purple guy wore. It was a tense party, but before things could wrap up, the mangled, ripped up Funtime Foxy went rogue, lunging down from the roof and biting right into Jeremy's frontal lobe. The event was dubbed the Bite of 87. Jeremy lived, but not well, and that was the final nail for Freddy's. A bloody end for the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Someone was watching this from the sidelines, Michael Afton. Mike was in his early 20s and had gotten away from his father. He didn't hate him, but they were distant. Mike saw what happened at the new Freddy's. The reports of the Spring Bonnie killer striking again was making the rumor mill. Was it the same bunny that kidnapped him night after night? Mike thought he knew his father, but maybe he didn't. He was always distant and distracted after Evan's death. And now with Elizabeth being missing, Mike needed answers. Freddy's needed a security guard for a few days while they got ready to transport the new fancy Afton robotic robots back to Afton for them to be scrapped. He felt something pushing him to go, so he did. He applied. He knew the Afton name was toxic to Freddy's at this point. So Mike, like father like son, used a fake name, using one of the poor dead kids' names, Fritz. Fritz Smith got the job and spent one night at Freddy's before being fired for tampering with the bots. He was looking for any kind of evidence, but before he could find anything in the old bots, he was kicked out. But what Mike saw during his night haunted him. Not only the rogue robots coming for him with a vengeance, also the golden bear that haunted him. Was his brother in there? Mike wanted to know, but he never got the chance. After Fritz was fired, the toy animatronics were sent back to Afton Robotics. Mike tried reaching up to his father, but he mostly got stonewalled or gaslit anytime he brought up the strange paranormal activities going on around the building. William, after a resounding success, was on a hot streak. He not only got more of an understanding of Remnant, but he held back that damn puppet and her army of vengeful animatronics. William knew there was much more to do, and while the company tried to remain positive about a reopening in the near future, William didn't see that happening. The market was open, and William had an idea. William wanted to continue the experiments, but he would need more Remnant, so he created Circus Babies Entertainment and Rental, a quick and easy way to gather Remnant without drawing too much suspicion. It would be hard to pin down some kind of connection if a child or two would go missing every 5th party that one of his animatronics attended. Yeah, it was good, but there was still something he could do now. The toy animatronics were returned to Afton Robotics for deconstruction after the events of the Bite of 87, and William knew firsthand that these robots weren't normal. Could swords be split between metal? Was the toy animatronics haunted by the same group of children that William killed years ago? William had to know, so he melted them down, all of them, and was able to reproduce the same silvery goo-like metal. Afton injected that into the Funtimes and they started to flare around and become erratic. Did the splitting of swords like this make the spirits incomplete, messed up? William knew that he couldn't just let this stand, so he created safety measures, buttons to shock the animatronics back into the right position. William didn't want any of them to become a little too comfy, but even when William didn't feel safe here, he wanted to work on Baby. Elizabeth, unlike the others that were violent and erratic, Baby just stood and watched. Those green eyes followed William. William wanted to work on some way to fix his daughter, to put her back together, but he got sheepish and needed some more Remnant. Maybe with more he could remind Elizabeth who she was, or create a new life form. William in his last few days before he left the rental bunker created a scooper, basically a high-tech Remnant injector. He used it on all of them, even Baby, trying to see if he can mix and match, but he didn't get the results he wanted. As much as he tried, Elizabeth wasn't like Charlie. Charlie was a whale. She still had her feel and goals, but Elizabeth was cold and robotic. William heard through the grapevine that Fazbear Entertainment was keeping the original 4 animatronics in the original Freddy Fazbear's Pizza location, apparently trying to spruce it up to make it a passable restaurant on a shoestring budget that the company had at this point. William knew what he had to do. Last time he used the toys, he borrowed metal from metal. This time, he was gonna go to the source.